Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys are all doing okay. Today I'm going to talk about flying as a spoonie, and also a little more specifically as a tubie, just because I've had some people ask questions, and when I flew to North Carolina in October, I had no clue what I was doing. And so, I was like, well, can I take my medication with me? Because oral Zofran doesn't always work with me, so I need IV Zofran through my port. And I'm like, well, what if I get sick? I need my IV Zofran. Can I take that on board with me, or will they confiscate it or anything? So, I want to go into that. But first, I want to mention I'm running IV antibiotics right now, so if I keep looking away, it's just because I'm checking to see if it's done yet. So, first and foremost, for anybody that wants to fly, spoonie or tubie, doesn't matter. If you want to take any medications on board with you, you need to have a note from your doctor. A note stating that so-and-so takes this medication for this reason and requires it during the flight, especially if it's a long flight, like you're going overseas, like England or Paris or something, or even cross-country. My flight to North Carolina was only 2 hours, but again, my concern was, what if I start throwing up? I don't want to be sitting there throwing up on the plane, and then I have to wait till my checked back luggage, comes on the carousel thing, and then dig through all my luggage and find my IV Zofran. So, one other thing, 50 pounds of medical supplies, and it has to be pure medical supplies. If you put clothes in there, and they open it and look at it, this is void. But you take a 50-pound suitcase, and you can take as many as you need of medical supplies, and they fly free. But just make sure it doesn't go over 50 pounds. But you can take as many as you need, and they do not charge you for it. I believe it's all airlines. I know Delta doesn't, and I've heard someone else say most of the other airlines don't either. So, when you're going through TSA, you're going to have your note. As soon as you see a TSA person, like before you start unpacking stuff, let them know that you have medications with you that are liquid, large content, things like that. Word of advice: if you have POTS or if you have EDS and it makes it hard for you to stand in line for a long time or stand up for a long time or walk long distances, when you check in, ask for a wheelchair. So, the first contingency that they have is all your medications need to be in the prescription bottle that they come from. If you don't, then they toss it. Second of all, they need to be in a plastic bag so that they can see them. Liquids can all go together. Again, the same thing though. Even this large, it obviously doesn't follow the 3-ounce rule, but I took about 3 medications of liquid medication this size with me to North Carolina, put them in a Ziploc bag so that they can see them. And again, as soon as you see the TSA person, let them know you have medications with you. If you take anything like Benadryl or Tylenol, I will check that in my bag with my medical supplies, and that way if something happens with either of these two, put it in a plastic bag obviously, but it busts open for some reason or something like that, you can go to, you can go to Walmart, CVS, Target, or anywhere to buy more. So, the off-the-shelf type of stuff I don't bring on the plane with me. I had no problems taking my syringes in for my IV Zofran because my physician indicated in my note that I need IV Zofran to stop my vomiting. My IV Zofran typically comes in a little bag, and it too has like a prescription label on it. So if you get any IV medications or any like injectable medications and they don't come in with a prescription, then you're going to have to check it. Otherwise, they will probably take it from you. Next, once you tell them you have medications, don't be surprised if they want to open up all the liquid bottles and just make sure that there's like no bomb residue and it's nothing that can blow up or anything. And they may even look at your pills. Both times, flying to North Carolina and flying back, they did absolutely nothing with my medications. They never touched them. When I flew, I didn't walk through the x-ray machine because I was on crutches at that time, so they had to wand me. But if you're a tubie and you run your feeds, be connected to your feeds during the flight. Before you get into the line with TSA, have your feeds running. They should not touch your feed bag. They should not touch your pump. What they might do is they may ask you to open your backpack, and it might swab for residue, which they did with me coming back from North Carolina. But they should not touch your equipment whatsoever. I mean, it really is. It seems more than it is, because I was panicking, like, what medications, what if my luggage gets lost for 3 days? I don't have my medication. Or, I need my IV Zofran and I need my oral Zofran. And, I need to take, this medication 4 times a day. And one of those times is going to be on the plane. I mean, I actually brought out, I think it was my hydroxyzine for itching on my plane ride there, and asked for a small cup of water and used that through my J tube on my plane ride to North Carolina. So it can seem more overwhelming than it is, but it's really not that bad. They will work with you, but again, let them know ahead of time that you have liquid medication or any medication. Have your doctor's note ready. If you're tubie, have that pump running with your feed, with Pedialyte, doesn't matter. But it is imperative that you have everything in order, ready for them in case they want to look at it. If you don't have a doctor's note, they actually never asked me for a doctor's note, so I'm not sure what would happen because they didn't ask me. I had a doctor's note, but I was just like, I have this condition, and I was wearing a shirt that showed my port, and then they could see, like, my tube, hanging, on the side of my pants. So, but I would highly, highly recommend that you do get a note from your doctor. Once, somebody else had recommended to me, getting, like, a water, what's it called? Not thermos. I'm having total brain fog right now. It's not a thermos or a coffee mug, but one of those ones that you just fill with, like, a reusable bottle, like the metal ones or something, and once you get inside, you can just use the water from the water fountains, and just fill that up to have water prepared for you. You want to make sure if you're tubie that that's not too cold for you. When I asked for water on my flight to Michigan, I made sure and asked her, do not put any ice in it. And then I had to wait a couple minutes because it still was too cold. So it's, make sure that it's not too cold as a tubie, because I've forgotten before and it was extremely painful. You can I had no problem taking my flushes. And I think part of that is because on the bag of the IV Zofran it says, flush, administer, flush, heparin. And so again, just don't forget to put them in bags. Don't forget your notes, or your doctor's note, and make sure they're all in the original prescription bottle. You can actually, for your medical supplies, for things like this, you are allowed one extra carry-on. I have a big purse, and then I had nothing but my pump in my backpack, so I didn't take an extra carry-on. Did I remember? No, I didn't take an extra carry-on. But, I had everything in my purse and my backpack. So I just had it ready to show them. And on my way there, all they did was just use the handheld metal detector. On my way back, they patted me down. They were a little more secure. They patted me down and they wiped my hands, both sides. They wiped the inside and the outside of my backpack, both compartments. Again, never touching the actual equipment. And they wiped the wheelchair and my shoes for bomb residue. My thought was, listen, this is not my wheelchair. There's bomb residue. Doesn't necessarily mean it's mine. But, it's really not, it can seem intimidating, especially your first flight when you're sick. I didn't know what to expect. I hadn't flown since being diagnosed with gastroparesis. I hadn't flown since getting my feeding tube, and I was so nervous. And they were very accommodating. They wheeled me to the gate. I was one of those, if you're going to take a long time to get to your seat, go in. So, I was able to board first. And my first flight was a really small plane that held 20 people. And there was only about 12 of us. So the stewardess actually let me sit in the front seat so I had more leg room. If you're somebody who has long legs or their joints start to hurt after sitting for a while, you can always talk to the airlines and when you're buying your ticket to see if there is a way to accommodate getting you to that front seat. This may sound over the top, but I do recommend a mask if you are immunosuppressed. So if you're taking anything that weakens your immune system, or if you're naturally have a weak immune system, a mask is not a bad idea, because that air is recirculated air. It's not fresh air, and so sorry. And so whatever the person back in 32B is coughing up, you're gonna get at 2B. And on my way home, I actually ended up getting sick. I carried with me wipes, baby wipes, and hand sanitizer also. One of the small hand sanitizers. That was good also, especially, I'm slightly germophobic, and so it worked for me. But, you can always wipe down your seat if you want to. People may look at you weird, but if you feel you need to, do it. Like I said, a mask if you're immunosuppressed, being on steroids suppresses your immune system. So if you're on steroids for any type of issue, whether it's an allergic issue to try and keep your mast cells from overreacting, or any type of like Addison's or Cushing's disease or any other adrenal insufficiency, that automatically lowers your immune system. So that's one thing to consider. Other than that, I mean, you know, don't fret. Check in early, just in case they want to test all your medications. They want to, make sure you have no bomb residue on you. Again, like I said, they cannot touch your equipment. Do not let them touch your pump or the feed bag. They should not be. And, like I said, just check in early. If it means 2 hours of sitting at the gate, it's better than getting there 5 minutes late. And if you need a wheelchair, don't be afraid to ask for one. I was on crutches when I went, but the way I feel standing in line for 2 hours waiting for everybody to go through, and then I have to stand and wait for them to pat me down and test my medications and stuff, I wouldn't be able to do it now either. So, a wheelchair is not a bad idea. And actually, the wheelchair, when I was taking on the wheelchair, we waited in line, but then we went around the x-ray machine and kind of got in front of everybody. None of my stuff went through the x-ray machine. It all came with me. So I started pulling out my medications, and they're like, no, don't worry about it. When I was here leaving Detroit. But when I was leaving North Carolina, they did have my stuff go through the x-ray machine, and then they brought it to me. So, again, I know it seems stressful, and I know it seems a lot, but have your doctor's note right where you can grab it, your medications in a clear plastic bag, alcohol wipes, or baby wipes, or sanitizing wipes, hand sanitizer, a mask. It doesn't matter what people think of you. You need to take care of your body. You already are going through a lot, so take care of your body. Again, one of those like reusable water, water bottles. I have brain fog today, but like a reusable water bottle, so you can either get water in the from the water fountains, or if you need to, you can buy water, let it sit so it can cool down room temperature if you're a tubie, and have like a wider water bottle so that your syringe can fit in it, or just ask the stewardess for a cup when you get on the airplane. If you have a feeding tube, just make sure your tube is running. If you're on TPN, have your TPN running. Other than that, enjoy your flight. Enjoy wherever you're going, and don't stress about it. Remember, your medical supplies fly free, so when you're checking in, you tell them you have 1 bag of medical supplies or 2 bags of medical supplies, and then your 1 suitcase of clothes, and you'll be good. I swear, my suitcase for my clothes it could fit in my medical supplies suitcase. Just because I had fluids, I had to take feed bags, I had to take formula, I had to take my syringes, gauze, extensions, because I was planning on being there 10 days. So it was a lot of stuff. But, extra flushes, things like that. For the plane ride, I only took enough flushes for me to have about 2 4 milligram doses, since it's only a 2-hour ride. And you know what? I ended up not needing it at all, and was good, because I think I used to get more motion sickness on planes than I do now. So again, just enjoy your flight. Make sure you have everything that you need, and it'll go smoothly. Good luck. Bye.